Unless you've spent the last year in a medically induced coma, you're probably familiar with the name Amber Heard. Perhaps hearing her name gives you a certain aching sensation in the ear. Regardless of how you feel about this person and the trial, whether you're on Team Johnny, Team Amber, or you're a normal person, I can almost guarantee that you're curious about where Amber Heard came from. Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we'll be looking at Amber Heard's super shady past. Yeah, you heard it right. So, let's start our video. Given that she's just as evil as the media portrays her to be, you may feel ethically conflicted by the response. On the 22nd of April 1986, in Austin, Texas, Amber Heard was born. She grew up in a somewhat traditional environment that exuded an air of affluence. Her father was a horse trainer, and she grew up fishing, hunting, and riding horses with him. She also participated in beauty pageants, which she later deemed objectifying. Her career began with appearances in Kenny Chesney and Isley's separate music videos. She made her feature debut in Friday Night Lights, which was followed by a succession of mediocre direct-to-DVD films. But perhaps the most unexpected aspect about Amber Heard's career is that you have likely seen her in a role that you did not recognize. She is truly one of the countless blonde white women who Hollywood has sucked up. In contrast to her contemporaries, Margot Robbie and Scarlett Johansson, she never landed a mainstream job that allowed her to stand out. Nevertheless, here are a few of Amber Heard's jobs in which you may have seen her without realizing. In Zombieland, she plays the attractive girl from across the hall who attempts to eat Jesse Eisenberg when she becomes a zombie. Mira is a mermaid, a princess, or something in the first Aquaman movie, for which she is likely most known. But as you already know, we're not discussing Amber Heard because of her contributions to the film industry. We're discussing her because of her contributions to tabloid material. And if you thought Johnny Depp was the beginning of her turbulent life, you'd better buckle up because we're just getting started. Amber Heard made headlines for the first time when she began dating photographer Tasha Van Ree. Heard has indicated that she identifies with no sexual orientation, but she's always been attracted to both men and women. During her partnership with Van Ree from 2008 to 2012, Heard legally changed her surname to Van Ree, which she later reverted. However, it was not the name change that initially drew popular attention. In 2009, Heard was detained at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport in Washington State after allegedly grabbing Van Ree by the arm and ripping a necklace chain from her neck before engaging in a physical and verbal dispute. A witness said that when the two were challenged, Van Ree was stoic and dismissive as if it was just another argument. Heard was then released on bail shortly after being let out of the station by the police. As far as we know, this is the first time that she's been arrested. Van Ree would later claim that the event had been misconstrued and exaggerated. She went as far as to claim that the responding police officer was homophobic and misogynistic. Apparently, the dramatic twist is that the arresting officer identifies as a lesbian. The incident was brought up in court as evidence of Heard's past domestic violence. However, the scandals are not yet over. Johnny Depp's legal team brought as a witness Kate James, one of Amber Heard's former personal assistants. She was invited to discuss the mistreatment that she endured while working for her between 2012 and 2015. According to James, she recounted multiple instances in which she awoke in the middle of the night to missed calls and barrages of texts that were incomprehensible, nonsensical, and above all, full of misguided hatred. James stated that she felt that the individual wanted someone to attack. She went on to relate an incident that followed her request for a pay increase. Heard sprang from her chair, invaded Jane's personal space, and screamed about how unworthy and repulsive it was that Jane would ever consider requesting a raise. James subsequently stated that this conduct extended to how Heard treated her own sister and mother, which was difficult to observe. In 2009, Heard and Depp met on the set of the much-forgotten picture, The Rum Diary. Depp portrays a sloppy drunk author, while Heard portrays a seductive blonde. They exerted extraordinary effort to bring their performances to life. Everyone despised the film, and it was a box office flop, but it did inspire a connection between the two of them, who were both in long-term relationships. At the time, Heard was still with Van Ree, while Depp was still with Vanessa Paradis, a former French singer, model, and actress, with whom he had two children, Lily Rose and John Christopher. The precise beginning of their relationship is open to interpretation, but they both officially announced their separations from their respective relationships at the start of 2012. And within 2 years, one of them was observed wearing an engagement ring while out on the town. The pair married in a private ceremony attended by only 20 guests at their Los Angeles residence. However, the good times did not last long. On May 23, 2016, Amber filed for divorce 4 days after she secured a temporary restraining order, alleging that Depp had thrown a phone at her face just a few days ago. The police assert that there was no criminal activity. Obviously, Depp rejected this and the case was brought to court, where the amount of spousal support claimed was closely examined. In the end, the lawsuit was handled out of court and she dropped her request for a restraining order. In addition, she retracted her request for $50,000 and alimony. Together, they issued a statement describing their relationship as very passionate and tumultuous at times, but always unified by love. None of the parties have made false charges for monetary benefit. She won $7 million in the divorce settlement, which she donated to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles and the American Civil Liberties Union. She also received the pets, but he retains exclusive ownership of all possessions, including his Bahamas private island. Importantly, a section prohibiting character assassination against the other party was incorporated into the settlement agreement. Heard then authored an opinion piece for the Washington Post in October 2018, in which she spoke on being the victim of spousal abuse and its long-term ramifications, but Depp was never referenced by name. But that didn't stop the public, who'd already been consuming the saga like wildfire, from doing the mental math to figure out who she was referring to. This prompted the always loud, always controversial Daily Mail to call Depp a wife-beater. In a front-page headline, the negative press began to swirl around Depp, and a narrative in which he was the abuser and she was the victim began to develop. Soon thereafter, he was fired from the upcoming Fantastic Beasts film, but it did not prevent him from suing her for $50 million for the one thing that they specifically promised they would not do, and thus began the longest daily battle of our entire lives. But the good thing is that Depp has won the case, and Amber's shady past is revealed to everyone. And that's all for today's video. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section down below. I hope that you found this video interesting, and if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel. See you in the following video with some more of the latest updates, and until then, stay tuned!